In the previous spoiler, it was mentioned that Luo Feng's dazzling performance on the Heavenly Bridge earned him the recognition of the Primal Chaos City leader, allowing him to become a disciple and name under his tutelage. He also began receiving regular personal guidance from the Venerable Gold Axe. With ample resources, the mentorship of powerful beings, and long-term comprehension of the Beast God's artistic conception through the Beast God statue, Luo Feng fully mastered the essence of space in just over 100 years. His cultivation speed was dozens of times faster than that of Lian Luo, clearly highlighting his extraordinary talent. It's worth mentioning that Lian Luo directly reached the marquee rank upon breaking through to the immortal level, which was already an impressive feat. However, Luo Feng's talent surpassed even that, suggesting his future achievements would naturally be far greater. Otherwise, he wouldn't have drawn such widespread admiration and attention from many universe venerables. So, have you ever wondered why a genius as gifted as Lian Luo was never resurrected through time-space reversal? One key reason is that his teacher, King Jinyan, though an invincible king immortal, did not possess the ability to manipulate time and space. And for a being who does wield such power, such as the Primal Chaos City leader, Void Gold Master, or even a true god like the founder of Huge Axe Dojo, to personally intervene for his resurrection would be highly unrealistic. After all, countless geniuses have perished across the universe, and Lian Luo was not the most dazzling among them. One must understand that even among geniuses, there are vast differences. Just as Lian Luo pales in comparison to Luo Feng, even the brightest star fades in the face of the blazing sun. Moreover, whether it's a universe master or a true god, their resurrection techniques come with strict limitations. In theory, the number of individuals they can bring back is limited. Infinite resurrection is simply not possible. This is because reversing time-space and bringing back the dead goes against the laws of the universe. The one performing such an act must bear a backlash force that scales with the strength of the resurrected individual. This is the universe's punishment for defying fate. This backlash also accumulates with each resurrection. Once it exceeds a certain threshold, even a universe master or true god, if not blessed with an overwhelmingly powerful divine body, may not be able to withstand it and could ultimately perish as a result. Precisely because of this, resurrection opportunities are usually reserved for those who hold truly significant value, such as extraordinarily powerful king immortals or universe venerables. Take the example of the ruler of Qianwu Universe Country. Though he demised during a risky expedition in a secret realm, he was ultimately revived because his status and strength were deemed worthy of consuming such a precious opportunity. Back to the storyline. After fully comprehending the essence of space, Luo Feng began to immerse himself in studying the secret tome created by Shi Luo Duo, focusing on mastering the profound law of gold-space fusion. While many universe venerables were placing bets on whether he could complete the challenge set by the Primal Chaos City leader to fully comprehend the first stage of the upper volume of the secret tome within 3,000 years, the domain master level qualification battle was held as scheduled several years after he began studying the secret tome. Unsurprisingly, Luo Feng won the championship in one sweep, becoming the undisputed strongest among all domain master-level geniuses under the Virtual Universe Company. In fact, back when he advanced from the beginning void space to the primordial void space by securing the only spot through the universe-level qualification battle and subsequently broke through to the domain master level, most of the other core domain master-level members in the primordial void space looked down on him, rejected him, or even saw him as an enemy. However, Luo Feng's dazzling performance on the Heavenly Bridge completely shattered their prejudice, leaving them with no choice but to admire him and even feel a deep sense of helplessness, as if they were being utterly crushed. After all, while they had each cultivated for tens of thousands of years just to barely reach the average standard of the 10th level of the Heavenly Bridge, Luo Feng ascended to the 13th level in only a few hundred years. His power far exceeded other cultivators at the same level, causing the other core members to abandon any thought of competing for first place. While diligently studying the secret tome and training in the laws, Luo Feng also made sure to convert his vast wealth into concrete combat strength. Currently, his two most important sources of wealth are, first, the massive funds obtained through joint ownership of Earth with the Virtual Universe Company, and second, the precious resource known as Lok Divine Liquid, gained after slaying Pan Shi. These resources gave him ample capital to nurture powerful plant-type auxiliary lifeforms. Thus, Luo Feng did not hesitate to invest a full 40% of that wealth into purchasing 3 star-eating grass seedlings, planning to cultivate each one with different levels of investment based on specific development strategies. It's worth mentioning that the star-eating grass is not inferior in any way to the Moyun vine. The key difference is, the Moyun vine is renowned for its formidable regeneration and self-healing abilities, excelling in defense, making it highly sought after among auxiliary plant lifeforms. On the other hand, the star-eating grass is known for its extremely tough and razor-sharp vines, excelling in constriction and slaughter, making it a top-tier offensive plant-type support lifeform. At this point, even though Luo Feng's human body was still at the domain master level, he already possessed the astonishing strength to pass the 13th level of the Heavenly Bridge. Based on this, it could be inferred that once he broke through to the World Master level, his comprehension of the original laws would at least reach the 15th level of the Heavenly Bridge, equivalent to the law realm of a lower-tier Marquis Immortal. It's no wonder Luo Feng was already filled with anticipation for slaying powerful enemies and traversing the vast sea of stars in the future. However, even if he reached the peak of the World Master level and could fully unleash his armor and weapon set, granting him strength equivalent to a peak Immortal Army Lord with 1,000 times the power of a peak World Master, it would still be extremely difficult to truly kill an immortal level being relying solely on physical strength. Unless his comprehension of the original laws far surpassed his opponents, enabling his power to undergo a qualitative leap and overpower the enemy's laws with brute force, a complete kill would remain out of reach. For example, if one could elevate their understanding of the laws to the peak Marquis level, they could use the power of the original laws to trigger a breakthrough in the tier of their strength via secret techniques. Under such a qualitative transformation strike, even an immortal army lord would be unable to withstand several or even a dozen fierce attacks. Ultimately, their divine body would collapse, and both body and soul would be annihilated. After all, an immortal army lord's soul imprint has yet to fully fuse with every single cell, still falling short of true immortality. By comparison, Marquis Immortals, whose divine bodies are more stable and whose soul imprints are completely fused, are much harder to kill. To completely kill a Marquis Immortal without using divine power, one's law comprehension must at least reach the peak King Immortal level. But even then, without sufficient base strength, a World Master wouldn't be able to execute a true kill, no matter how advanced their understanding of the laws might be. This is why many World Masters with heaven-defying combat strength may defeat Immortals but cannot annihilate them completely. This fundamental limit is the reason. Under such circumstances, auxiliary methods become especially critical. These include the soldier-grade armor, special poisons, customized armaments, advanced technological gear, and even offensive plant-type auxiliary lifeforms such as an immortal-level star-eating grass. The star-eating grass is famed for its devouring ability. Even without burning divine power, it can instinctively consume the divine energy within an enemy's divine body. Once Luo Feng suppresses and severely wounds his enemy, he can simply unleash the star-eating grass to devour the divine body, preventing the enemy's divine body from reforming, thereby achieving a true and complete kill. It's worth mentioning that plant lifeforms differ from humans in that they rely far less on comprehension of the laws. As long as they have sufficient resources and are of high quality, it's possible to stack them into reaching the immortal level. Once a plant breaks through to immortality, it has a high probability of being granted an original law by the universe, typically the wood original law due to its inherent nature. At the same time, plant lifeforms, originally simple-minded and instinct-driven, undergo a fundamental transformation at this stage, gaining the capacity to communicate and think more like intelligent beings. Of course, Luo Feng had no intention of cultivating all three star-eating grass plants to their optimal potential. The stronger a plant becomes, the more massive the resources required for it to reach the immortal level, and the lower the success rate of breakthrough. Therefore, Luo Feng decided to cultivate the three star-eating grasses on different scales according to his available resources. It's important to mention that a star-eating grass with 500 tendrils already has potential comparable to the highest grade Moyun vine. Should it succeed in breaking through to immortality, it would possess at least the combat strength of a lower-tier King Immortal. And if cultivated to a scale of 1,000 tendrils, upon a successful breakthrough, its power could directly reach the peak King Immortal level. For Luo Feng, whose life core is far more powerful than ordinary beings, achieving immortality is an extremely arduous challenge. It is well known that even typical space beasts only begin to have a chance at breaking through to immortality when their law comprehension reaches the lower-tier King Immortal level. Luo Feng's golden horned beast core, being several to dozens of times stronger than normal space beasts, demands far deeper comprehension and stricter conditions to break through. Because of this, before reaching immortality himself, immortal-level star-eating grass will be an indispensable support in battle. However, once Luo Feng's own strength reaches the peak King Immortal level, the importance of plant-type auxiliary lifeforms will greatly diminish, even becoming negligible. After all, aside from special lifeforms, it is nearly impossible for ordinary plant life to break through to Universe Venerable. The reason is simple: they rely primarily on the owner's resource investment rather than achieving enlightenment themselves. And the heavenly treasures capable of enabling a plant lifeform to ascend to universe venerable are unimaginably rare. Many cultivators may not encounter even one in their entire lifetimes, making it impossible to provide such aid. Without external support, the only path forward for plant lifeforms is to comprehend upper original laws by themselves. However, even though they possess a lower law, they did not gain them through personal comprehension. Trying to comprehend superior laws on this basis is incredibly difficult, and achieving any extraordinary success is almost impossible. Nonetheless, there are still a very few plant lifeforms that, over the course of endless years, have defied all limits, some even rising to the level of universe masters or true gods. It's worth mentioning that the original universe's origin will itself strongly rejects true god-level beings. It will never provide any resources or opportunities that could help cultivators achieve true god level. Of course, such an extreme breakthrough remains far beyond Luo Feng's reach at present. Nevertheless, under the nurturing of the Lok divine liquid and a large amount of resources of varying levels, it was not difficult for the 3 star-eating grass plants to grow to the 9th rank of World Master during Luo Feng's long years of cultivation in Primal Chaos City. Even the one with slightly inferior quality was highly likely to have already successfully broken through to immortality. Of course, if the star-eating grass breaks through to immortality in the beginning universe, it must return in time to the original universe before the collapse of its inner world, so that it can build a divine kingdom to enable future divine kingdom teleportation within the original universe. After all, the original universe and the beginning universe are essentially 2 relatively independent universes, and free travel between them via divine kingdom teleportation is impossible. During his cultivation in the beginning universe, Luo Feng also consecutively participated in another 2 domain master qualification battles, where he continued to secure first place without question. These several thousand years roughly equate to nearly 900 years of cultivation in the beginning universe. During this time, Rongjun became a core domain master of the beginning void space, and Bolin also successfully joined the core domain masters of the primordial void space. Although Bolin was also in the primordial void space, there remained a significant strength gap between him and Luo Feng. Even so, Luo Feng, wholly focused on cultivation, had yet to achieve any astonishing breakthroughs. This attracted close attention from higher-ups, whether from the Virtual Universe Company, the Huge Axe Dojo, or universe venerables of various universe countries who all awaited to see if he could fulfill his promise to the Primal Chaos City leader. Meanwhile, King Nightmare Candle, who had been demoted to imprisonment in the Star Domain prison, harbored deep hatred toward Luo Feng. Were it not for his father, the venerable Fire Erosion, who used his status to secure him an opportunity to vent his emotions in the virtual universe once every 100 years, King Nightmare Candle would likely have already suffered a mental collapse and twisted personality in that harsh environment. Every time he entered the virtual universe, besides frantically venting his hatred, he never stopped paying attention to news about King Jinyan and his disciples, especially Luo Feng's movements. Upon learning that Luo Feng showed no remarkable progress, he seemed to find some psychological comfort and even secretly mocked Luo Feng's so-called dream of becoming the Primal Chaos City leader's direct disciple as nothing but wishful thinking. However, King Nightmare Candle was unaware that Luo Feng was progressing at an astonishing speed. The venerable Gold Axe, who had been responsible for guiding him regularly over a long period, gradually realized through observation that Luo Feng possessed incredible cultivation talent. No matter what cultivation difficulties he faced, it was almost impossible to keep him stuck for long. What shocked the venerable Gold Axe even more was that Luo Feng managed to nearly fully comprehend the first stage of the secret tome's upper volume in less than 1/3 of the agreed-upon time. This achievement also brought a hint of satisfaction to the Primal Chaos City leader. Unexpectedly to the venerable Gold Axe, Luo Feng reached this milestone earlier than he had predicted. At this time, Luo Feng's inner world, his golden horned beast, and his Mashiclan clone had all broken through to the 9th rank of the World Master level. This meant that without any rank restrictions, his human body could break through to the World Master level at any time without arousing suspicion. Yet Luo Feng was not in a hurry to do so. Instead, he personally went to the city lord's mansion to report that he had mastered the first stage of the secret tome. Luo Feng never expected that the Primal Chaos City leader would personally test his cultivation results and even immediately order him to launch an attack using the first stage of the secret tome. This startled Luo Feng and made him realize he had acted somewhat hastily. After all, for thousands of years, he had been focused mainly on the comprehension of fusion laws and had not deeply studied the secret techniques and combat methods detailed in the secret tome. Fortunately, through years of practice, he had already studied the beast god statue with his golden horned beast, verified the fusion of laws, and successfully incorporated this into the golden horned beast's signature skill, Heaven-Tearing Claw. Meanwhile, his human body had long been practicing claw techniques suited to the humanoid form. Therefore, when performing these in front of the primal Chaos City leader, he felt no awkwardness and handled them with ease. As a supreme universe powerhouse, the primal Chaos City leader naturally saw at a glance that Luo Feng had yet to truly cultivate the secret techniques of the secret tome beyond the laws. However, he was very pleased with the claw techniques Luo Feng displayed and immediately decided to formally accept him as a direct disciple. After all, this was a set of claw techniques fused with the beast god's artistic conception, and the beast god itself is the embodiment of law fusion, so the combat skills derived from it naturally contain astonishing power. After officially accepting Luo Feng as his direct disciple, the primal Chaos City leader did not forget to remind him of a series of important matters and simultaneously greatly increased Luo Feng's permissions. With the elevated permissions, many previously inaccessible pieces of information were now open to Luo Feng without restrictions, whether it was resource allocations for core world master level members or the cultivation materials needed for the golden horned beast's special secret technique, Deity of the World, he could now easily obtain them. In fact, the setting of permissions is fundamentally based on the individual's status as a genius and their potential. Granting higher permissions not only broadens their horizons but also helps them better plan their cultivation paths and prioritize obtaining necessary auxiliary resources and power-enhancing items. Although Luo Feng's recent permission upgrade was significant, it still somewhat lagged behind Hong's. After all, Hong is not only a direct disciple of a universe master but also a disciple in name of a true god-level powerhouse. His permissions are so high that he can even track the whereabouts of universe venerables. Nonetheless, compared to people like Bolin, Rongjun, and Wuka, the information and resources Luo Feng can now access far exceed theirs. This is the real advantage that comes with high-level permissions. Of course, no matter how high the permissions are, without matching wealth to support them, it is difficult to truly leverage their benefits. Otherwise, no matter how many permissions one has, they are merely for show and meaningless for actual strength improvement. Take Luo Feng as an example. Although he can now review a large amount of rare metal materials suitable for the cultivation of the golden horned beast, many of these are extremely valuable and far beyond what he can currently afford. Fortunately, when Luo Feng learned that by passing trials at different levels of the Heavenly Mountain, he could earn massive points rewards upon breaking through the World Master level, he immediately decided to challenge the primordial Heavenly Mountain at the Domain Master level. For most core domain masters, completing the foothill and mid-mountain checkpoints of Heavenly Mountain was nearly impossible, almost no one could pass, and the real summit challenge was even 10 to 100 times more difficult, almost hopeless. But for Luo Feng, the foothills and mid-mountain were merely warm-ups, the real threat lay in the final battle at the summit. Even using the strongest form of the Yenshin armament, even immortals can be defeated, he could not defeat the enemy in a single strike. Fortunately, relying on the extreme amplitude of his spiritual energy, fusion with the beast god's artistic conception, and the clever use of the first stage of the secret tome, Luo Feng finally killed the genetic warrior among the three gatekeepers. It is worth mentioning that the three gatekeepers at the summit of Heavenly Mountain originally operated in a tightly coordinated manner, supporting each other. Once one of them was defeated, the overall battle quickly collapsed. Therefore, following the demise of the genetic warriors, Luo Feng swiftly eliminated the remaining illusionist and spiritual energy controller, successfully completing the entire challenge. News of his successful breakthrough of the primordial Heavenly Mountain instantly shook the upper echelons of the virtual universe company. He became the only unparalleled genius in over 1 billion years to have succeeded in this challenge. Well, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching this video. Wish you a wonderful day.